Hello everyone and welcome to our stream of the latest Russian 2v2 tournament from about 2 weeks back. In the next few days we're going to be bringing you footage from the first round of the Russian National Championships in Warhammer Total War 2v2. Tonight we have a very interesting battle that has that was quite a twist, according to a lot of the forums. And tonight we're going to be casting it. I am Arclinon, and this is the battle that we're going to be looking at today. This is the best of 5, and this is the first match. So, on one side we have RTK Foreign Legion versus the VM team. I don't particularly remember the name, but some very good players. Dark Admiral and NewAbbott, just very good players, both in 1v1 and 2v2, as you will see later. Now, let's get down to business. Let's take a look at the units. On the blue corner, we have Bretonnia and Dwarves. Dwarves being controlled by Jixxy and Bretonnia by myself, Arclinon. So, with the Dwarves, we've got, I see, 3 Longbeards and 1 Regiment of Renowned Dwarf Warriors. An interesting main line, with 3 Quarrelers and 2 Rangers with great weapons, which are a very underrated unit. This unit, in fact, as you might have noticed, it's gold. It's gold ranked for 2 reasons. It's very cost effective, and the DPS, damage per second, that these guys can do is insane. Now, the other thing we've got is the Goblobber. It is to bring the enemy, to force the enemy into an attacking position, as well as the Dragonback Slayers. Just as a reminder, the main difference between the Dragonback Slayers and the normal Slayers is that Dragonback Slayers have charged defense against large, which eliminates the second weakness of the Slayers, which is cycle charging. Now, with that gone, Slayers have become a very powerful unit, especially against large. They're still very weak against more common damage dealer infantry and archer fire. On Bretonnia's side, we have a pretty common main line. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, about 2 spearmen and 4 polearms. 4 polearm infantry. 1 of them are ranked, as well as 2 Grail Knights. 2 Grail Knights with Knights of the Realm. Now, I also forgot about the gyrocopters, which will play somewhat of an important role. Now, back to Bretonnia, we also have the 4 lines of archers and the classic flying line of King Luan, aka King Birdie, and Paladin, as well as, of course, Damsel. To cast the spells. Now, according to the rules, we are not allowed to bring 2 of the same heroes, which is why you do not see 2 paladins over here, and why you don't see 2 Empire captains. Now, on the red corner, we have got Vampire Counts with Empire, a very interesting matchup. On the front lines, we've got Skeleton Warriors, and on the sides, on the flanks, we've got Graveguard. Behind them, we've got Graveguard with great weapons, and as their gen sniping team, they've got Vlad von Karstein, White King, and Banshee. For the viewers who are not aware, what's so special about Vlad von Karstein, he has the most regeneration per second. So, if you cannot snipe him quickly, he will just regenerate. So he's a very defensive general. In that sense, he's rather strong. He's just like Manfred von Karstein, perhaps not as much as the damage and the spell repertoire, but still pretty good. 2 Blood Knights will form a very strong cavalry team, and 2 Cairn Wraiths. I personally do not like their positioning here. I prefer to put them more on the front lines because of their terror, and obviously the ethereal. On the Empire side now, that's where the things get real interesting. A Templehof Luminarch, a Light Wizard. As some of you might know, Templehof Luminarch and Light Wizard are both able to cast Net of Amentok, which stops the units dead in their tracks, but it only works on the hostile units, so your units will still be free to move. That, and while it is active, all the units that get into its range will be stopped as well. So, for the Empire, we've got 3 guns, 2 halberdiers, 1 spearman to defend them in the back, and then 2 spears and 1 unit of demigryph. This, under normal circumstances, this would be a rather, I would say, a cheesy build because it doesn't have much of a mainline force. But when supported in 2v2, that's what makes 2v2s interesting. 2v2s when you do not just go fight 2 separate people. You can merge together and complement each other's strengths and weaknesses, which is what makes 2v2s a bit more complex than 1v1. Added the element of coordination, and it leads to some very interesting matches. So let's begin and see how it goes. We've got some cavalry movement on the left. The artilleries are getting into a firing position. Right, currently we have kind of a Mexican standoff, and the vampires are on the move. Vampire units are on the move, and the Empire is closing in. There's some fire from the Dwarves, and it's a direct hit on the Graveguard. We should have probably fired on the Blood Knights, and here he is firing on the Blood Knights. Templehof Luminarch is moving in. Bretonnia is retaliating. The Dwarf player is sending in his gyrocopter against the Templehof. Templehof is retreating after seeing the Luminarch. Now let's see from the high above. The Empire has sent. Actually, you know, I am gonna do is controls, game settings. Where's the? Oh, there's the sound. Effects, music, speech. You guys go. Okay. Now I should not be getting interrupted. I thought you were gonna... Yeah. See, it's on the bottom. Why is it not working? You know what? I'll just mute the whole thing. Alright. And we've got a fire from Luminarch. It hits King Lewin straight in the face. Quite a bit of damage. About 40% of his health. 30, 35. A very substantial amount of damage. Like... This is, especially on a flying unit, this is something that should not have been happening. The Bretonnian player, which is me, have mismanaged him. He wasn't looking at it. Now, second shot is incoming. Let's see what happens. Another shot like this, and look at this dodge. Just beautiful. And this is how it should have been dodged for King Lewin. Now, it's not a big loss for the Bretonnian player because King Lewin has regeneration. So we saw that Templehof Luminarch is just a bad idea to fire on the heroes. But wait, there are 2 nets of Amentok. Bretonnia is repositioning against the Empire, and a second shot and a second dodge. A third shot and a second dodge. Just beautiful, just beautiful. I'd like to draw your attention to the way that this unit has dodged. It did not go It did not go up, it did not go down, only sideways. When it comes to Templehof Luminarch, you keep your eye on this little thing. It will begin shining a few seconds before it fires, and then you start moving sideways and it's gonna miss. And here we have gyrocopter shooting at the Blood Knights. Blood Knights currently being the most expensive unit that the vampires have got, that also cannot regenerate. It's a very good move. Empire is positioning. Another shot and another dodge. Beautiful. Not because it's, it's me playing it, but I was very proud in how I was dodging. Right now, the Templehof Luminarch, which costs 2,425, I believe, is completely nullified. And look at this. Our King Birdie has regenerated half of his lost health. And now Bretonnia is sending in their archers against the gunners. Oh, what's this? The gyrocopters are Invocation of Nehek with overcasted Invocation of Nehek. And here we see one problem. See, while the Bretonnia was focused on doing damage over here, Blood Knights maneuvered and took these peasant bowmen by surprise. Let's see how it proceeds. Now the Empire is moving towards this Paladin. This Paladin is getting supported. The Dwarves are sending in for the aerial combat. And Net of Amyntok is down. Let's see what this means for the Bretonnian player. The Paladin is going down. Luminarch has fired on King Luan and he is at half a health. Oh, but look at this. Dwarf player is retaliating and they're taking damage. Now, let's take a look. Did you see that? Now, did you see that? Look at this. Half his health. These guys, these rangers with great weapons, they are no joke. Let's take a look at another volley by them. Now, King Luan is doing damage. Now, here we see they're throwing axes. Let's get a closer look. See, they're throwing axes. Let's see how effective they are. Visible damage! It's just very strong, very strong. Despite the Net of Amyntok, despite the mistakes, it is still going strong. But look at this. We have a lot of engagement going on our right. On the right side, we have... on the left side, we have our general trade with Paladin taking out the Light Wizard, and generals are being exchanged, generals being traded, while the Bretonnian player managed to thwart Blood Knights. He's moving the Spearmen, which leaves these quarrelers, these skirmishers, wide open. This is one of the mistakes that he makes. Also, the Grail Knights on the right are completely idle, while they should have been stopping this charge over here. Let's see what else we've got. Generals are being exchanged. The Empire General is running away. Light Wizard running away. Bretonnian General being chased by the Empire Captain. And now we see the Bretonnian Cavalry being broken apart. With no defense, their skirmishers are wide open. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good on the left. Doesn't look good at all. With Paladin chasing the Karl Franz, and King Luan is off the field. Now Karl Franz is off the field. We've got a general exchange, but these cavalries are engaged with Spearmen, Demigryphs, and Blood Knights. Ooh, that's a bad matchup right there. Here we see quite a bit of a blob going on. They're holding their line, but look at this. We have got a terrified unit. Now the main line is going down. Now finally all the players are moving in with their units. No idle units here. The Blood units are going to support the Demigryphs, and they're off to take off those pesky skirmishers. Now, Luminarch of Hysh has a free reign of the battlefield. The Empire player is defending and using halberdiers. And look at this, a beautiful charge, a beautiful open charge by 30 Blood Knights against the Quarrelers. Let's see how much damage they do. Boom. Position is broken, morale is almost gone, damage is just great. And on the other hand, we've got demigryphs that are routing these Quarrelers. The metal line of the Dwarf and Bretonnia is routed. RTK is not in a good position here. Longbeards are holding against 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units right now. On the right hand side, we've got units idling over here. And we have demigryphs engaged with these great weapons. Not very good. No, left flank is collapsing. Left flank of the RTK is collapsing. Now, where was that paladin that was just around here? Yeah, here he is. You know, the left flank of the RTK has returned. The Bretonnia is moving in with their damsel, but because of their general was gone. Now we see a pretty big mistake. One of the moments which could have turned the battle around. Now, one of the beauties of this game is that you never know when the battle is complete. You never know, oh, I won or lost. No, it's a complex series of events. Especially on the higher levels, you can see the game turning very easily. Personally, I have had a lot of games turned around from hopeless to a complete victory in a lot of times. So we see a paladin getting trapped over here. If you would excuse me, I need to reply to this. Oh, we're still recording. That's good. Alright. Sorry for that brief interruption. It's my first time. Cut me a break. Alright. We have this paladin being trapped right here. This paladin trapped right here. Alright. Let's see, we've got this. Bretonnian player is not going very good. Speaking of which, can I... Settings. Yeah. Alright, sorry about that brief interruption. Just wanted to make sure my friend was could be able to see it. And we have a return on the back of the flank, where this paladin and these spears are trapped by a pincer attack. See what happens here? Dragonback Slayers are fighting against Karen Wraiths. We've got some routes on the right flank. Let's see if the winning right flank will be enough to win this. Temple of Luminarch is obstructed, so it is not firing. These archers are standing idle. Left flank has completely collapsed. As it stands now, left flank has completely collapsed. The great swords are firing inside of this blob, doing quite a bit of damage. They're trying to take out Vlad to secure victory. But right now it's a battle against time. It's a battle against time. They're trying to kill Vampire player's general before the rest of them rout. Before they lose on the left flank. They put all their power on the right flank, and the Empire player is attacking the skirmishers to prevent them from firing. One units have used all their ammunition. These units are crumbling. And we have Bretonnia players supporting the right side using the Grail Knights. Let's see if they will be able to hammer an anvil on this guy. You see the left flank is cleaning up and closing in on the right flank. The great weapons have run out of ammunition, and the Tempelhof has just fired. But it seems like it hit its own units instead. Tempelhof, you see, one quick note on Tempelhof is that it's a good unit, but it's a very unreliable unit. One shot it will do 60% health, 50% health, but in other ones it will do just 10%, and more often than not it's gonna miss. So I personally don't like bringing them. Alright, we have crumbling units. Vlad von Karstein at 50%. Runelord at 50%. See if their left flank will hold. It can turn either way right now. It can turn either way. Bretonian cavalry has routed and coming back. Great swords run out of their ammunition. Now they're defending the grudge thrower. And we've got Dragonback Slayers supporting the left flank against the enemy large units. This is a very exciting match, to be honest. You've got these standing brimstone guns. To tell you the truth, if this brimstone guns attack these handgunners or can hold this Tempelhof Luminark, this can turn around, ladies and gentlemen. Tempelhof Luminark is being attacked by Bretonian halberds. Empire is pulling it out. Oh, now. You remember me saying how Slayers are a good units, but they've got a drastic weakness against weak infantry? Now this is where they're weak at. Let's take a look how it goes. Vlad von Karstein is going down. It's a very close match. Bretonnia has routed it, has brought back its cavalry, and is now attacking handgunners. And Net of Amentok stops them dead in their tracks. Tempelhof Luminark fires. They are engaged. Let's see if they will be able to... And it's a fire damsel is dead, my ladies and gentlemen. The last hope of the Bretonian player is now dead with one shot from Tempelhof Luminark. See, it was turning around, but these kinds of mistakes... These kinds of things. Vlad von Karstein is dead. Right now only a Runelord remains. Bretonnia, it doesn't look good, but for dwarves they might win. It's gonna be very close, ladies and gentlemen. If it's anything, these spearmen, if they can make it there, it's gonna change. This Banshee, they're a tough unit. They're a very tough unit. They've got very good leadership. Can still fight when all the units are gone. Oh, these demogryphs are coming in. The things are not looking good for the RTK unit, for the RTK players. They're blobbed. Their units are routing. These gyrocopters are trying to chase these running units. One thing I would like to remind our players, now some of you might ask, why is this gyrocopter chasing these guys? Because when a unit shatters, it also reduces the overall morale of the other remaining units, which might cause a mass rout. Runelord is holding the line. Blob is holding it. This Tempelhof Luminark is still alive. If it can get a shot on the Runelord, it's all over. It's all over for RTK. Let's see. Peak Guards, Zenothar's Rangers, they're routing. It's an interesting fight. Let's fast forward it a bit. It's getting a little boring, to be honest. And a Net of Amentok. The M team is just wrapping up at this point. Boom, a shot at Runelord. Beautiful shot, beautiful shot. See, when you're fighting against Temple of Luminark, just because it's unpredictable doesn't mean you can leave it alone. Yeah, and that was the first fight, ladies and gentlemen. There are gonna be 4 more, because it was a best of 5. It was a very close round. And I will leave it to Adelmo. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.